Diane and I have been talking about divorce throughout the last couple of videos, and this is the last one in the series. And the reason why this one's so important is, we understand divorce, we're understanding the drama, we're understanding how to really calm down the drama, but how do we take care of our self-care? How do we take care of ourselves, our mind, body, spirit, when we're going through a process that's so intense? It can be very stressful. It can bring out the worst in us if we're not really paying attention. It's interesting when we think about self-care, it's so much more important. It's important all the time, but especially when you're going through a life-changing situation like a divorce.
Yes, absolutely. And so I love talking about how to divorce without drama, how to show up as your best self throughout a divorce, how to be proud of the person that you are. And a big piece of how to do it is to take immaculate care of yourself. So if you're not somebody who's used to having self-care as part of your lifestyle, it's going to be even harder for you. But a lot of people, because you're sad, you want to do sad things. You want to eat, cheesy goodness, sit on the couch, lights out, Enya, ice cream, and just eat your feelings and sleep a lot. And while little bits of that are totally appropriate and necessary and you should make it happen, you really want to be doing things that are optimizing your health, that are because the better you are, the better you feel, the better you act. Everything's connected. And so one of the ways that you can be naturally happy is by being intentional about consistently feeling there's neurotransmitters, and I'll give you an acronym for them in just a second, but they make you feel happy. So it's called getting your daily dose, and that stands for dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. Dopamine is the neurotransmitter that makes you feel good. So if you are really thirsty and you drink some water, dopamine. Also when you have sex, that's one of the feel-good things. Dopamine is also the neurotransmitter behind all known addictions, but the whole purpose of dopamine initially was to get you to do the things that would help you survive. So eat, drink water, and have sex. Oxytocin is the neurotransmitter that's behind bonding. And so you can get that by just playing with a pet or hugging someone. But again, feeling these things will naturally make you feel happy. Serotonin, sleep. You got to get rest. You got to sharpen the saw, let your body recharge. And it's so easy to stay up all night looking at old photos or just, mindlessly binging things on the internet to take your mind off things, whatever. But you need to create an evening ritual that helps your body wind down and get your rest. And you might normally get 5 or 6 hours of sleep, bump it up to 7 or 8 or even 9 because your body is dealing with a lot throughout the day. And so you want to allow yourself to recharge. And then the E is endorphins. So working out, doing things that are getting your blood pumping. If you're making sure to get your daily dose, you will feel good. So that high level daily dose. But aside from that, just the basics, nutrition. If you haven't visited a nutritionist ever, now's a great time to do it and learn, what allergies do you have? What sensitivities do you have? What things, are actually really, really good for you to be eating? What things should you be eating every day? Really, rather than doing the whole Googling and, okay, this is how XYZ celebrity ate, really take a very self-centered approach to making your nutrition unique to what your body needs, especially during traumatic times.
And I agree with you on that, especially with the wellness. Think about what you need to really look at what you need to be eating. And one thing that I figured out years ago is how my body processes different foods. So it's really taking the time to actually have an inside look at, okay, when I eat beef, how do I feel? When I eat chicken or pork, how do I feel? If I eat fish, how am I feeling? If I'm eating these vegetables, how do I feel? Are there some things that I'm allergic to? Because if you're eating foods that you're allergic to, you're going to have all kinds of side effects from that. Upset stomach, gastrointestinal issues, also just, general feeling malaise and itching, scratching, all that kind of stuff, maybe even foghead. So you really need to think about those things, but it's also about putting yourself first when it comes to nutrition. When you're sleeping, getting enough sleep, because if you're not getting enough sleep, you're not making any sense. If you're not getting a lot of sleep or enough sleep that you need, also one of the biggest things is stress ends up taking you over. And we begin to see things bigger than life. And so when we're not being able to sleep, a lot of times we get triggered more as well. We have a lot of triggers, we get a lot of stress and anxiety. And what somebody says can really just turn us over in a situation where we're not prepared to answer that question or respond. But again, working out is another option too. Here is that you really need to get some exercise. I've had clients that get insomnia in the process of going through a divorce. And the reason for that is the stress level. But the only way of ridding that is by actually physically working out. And I'm not talking about, lifting a weight here or there. I'm talking about actual physical exercise. So getting on a treadmill for an hour. You got to start off somewhere. So it's not like starting off at an hour, but starting off 20 minutes a day, getting some actual physical exercise, whether it's biking or whatever you want to do. But that's so important because the nutrition, the sleep, and the exercise have to go hand in hand, because if you're not working your body, your mind is going a million miles an hour. And that goes back to, like we talked about, the meditation and that sort of thing too, is that at night having that routine, and during the day having the routine. And I've done videos on this about morning routines, nightly routines. And it's so important, right? I mean, like, we have to go to bed at a certain time. You have to lay down. We got to turn off, our iPads or whatever it is that we're looking at. We got to analyze that. Having the TV in the bedroom on is not the best of ideas. Really, really slowing down. If you're going to read something, reading something that is actually good for you to read, and taking in any sort of entertainment or reading material that's not going to add to your stress level. It's not going to stress you out, because a lot of times people will turn on the news and add more stress into their life. And or Instagram, looking at Instagram and somebody that seems like they're perfectly happy because they just got married, and you're looking at, we don't want to do that. We don't want to set ourselves up for failure. So those are some things we need to do as well as supplements and other things too.
And to piggyback of something you just said, so morning ritual, evening ritual, the human body responds very well to routines. So if you can take, the thinking out of as much of your day as possible and be able to, in autopilot, do the last 3 hours of your day, in autopilot, I wake up, I do this, I journal, I go to the gym, and so you can do it without thinking, it will significantly diminish the amount of stress you experience. And that's why there's executives like Mark Zuckerberg, not necessarily, I don't care how you feel about him, just using him as an example, wears the same thing every day. Why? Because it's one less decision that has to be made. Mm-hmm. So it frees up brain waves to focus on other things. So it's not just, a morning ritual is nice to have. It literally will make your life exponentially smoother. Make it easier to get more sleep, make it easier to, wake up earlier. So it's great to have. And when we say nutrition, I meant to say this earlier, nutrition also includes hydration. So getting your water in is critical. There's so many functions in your body that are optimized when you are getting the right levels of water. And the right levels vary from person to person, so I'm not going to tell you what yours is. I'm going to challenge you to figure it out for yourself. But get your hydration, and whether you have to keep a water bottle with you or play little games. I have a friend who chugs a liter of water first thing when she wakes up. But just do whatever you have to do to make it possible to get the levels you need, because it makes it easier to think, easier to sleep. It helps your body process waste and fat. It's good for your metabolism. And the other thing I want to say is I wanted to just go into, I know I mentioned the daily dose earlier, but I have a list on my phone of what happens when you are deficient in those neurotransmitters I mentioned, just so that it's driving home the importance of getting those. So the first one in the acronym DOSE is dopamine. So signs of dopamine deficiency include procrastination, low self-esteem, lack of motivation or enthusiasm, low energy, inability to focus, feeling anxious, feeling hopeless, and mood swings. For oxytocin, deficiencies include feeling lonely, feeling stressed, lack of motivation, low energy or fatigue, again, a feeling of disconnect from your relationships, feeling anxious, and, ding, 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 insomnia, okay? For serotonin deficiencies, signs are low self-esteem, being overly sensitive and emotional. Hello, trying to divorce that drama. You don't want to be deficient in that. Anxiety and panic attacks, mood swings, depression and feeling hopeless, social phobias, obsessive compulsive disorders, and again, insomnia. And finally, endorphin deficiencies cause anxiety, depression, mood swings, aches and pains, insomnia, and the big one, impulsive behavior. So, just keep in mind, oh, wow, if I could make sure to experience these 4 brain chemicals every single day, I'm going to feel better, be less anxious, less likely to give in impulsive behaviors, fewer mood swings. I mean, it sounds like I'm selling something, right? But it's like, it's totally free. You can do it on your own just by, making sure that you're getting your hugs in, playing with a pet, getting your movement, getting your nutrition together, getting outside to get some sunlight. And so all these things will help you ultimately, if you're going through the divorce process, show up as the version of yourself you want to be and go through that divorce with as little drama that's your fault as possible.
So true, and definitely. So those are very important things. I mean, at all times, not even just when you're going through divorce, but definitely these are important things to take into consideration because this will cut down the stress level and the anxiety, and you'll feel just a lot better because there's already stress. Why add to it? So all these things are important, and so really, that's really the nuts and bolts of this. Now we're going to be doing some more videos on divorce and the divorce process and all that stuff. But for right now, I think that this really gets to where we need to be at. So if you're right in the middle of a divorce or thinking about divorce, this will give you enough information to go, okay, I'm ready, I can do what I need to do, and I can also take care of myself. I know it's going to be stressful. We're not creating all rainbows and unicorns, but we know that we can actually protect ourselves and our health in the process. Great job, Diane. Yes. So we have more videos coming up for you in the future here on this subject and more videos with Diane as we go along too as well. So don't forget to live your true life.